Jia and Guangdong are the Clash of Clans Arctic Open champions. That's going to be wide, and that's going to be the title. Well, I can't believe he's ever played too much better than that, really. And they've added yet another title. What a year they're having. And that is a hat-trick of titles.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. As you've just seen in our little montage, the current European leg was kick-started with a bang at the Clash of Clans Arctic Open 2023, powered by Yonex. Several big stories came out of Finland and we're going to highlight them all before looking ahead to the next event, the Victor Denmark Open 2023. And to accompany us through it all today, I'm delighted to welcome back Scotland's #1, Kirsty Gilmer. Welcome back to the show, Kirsty.
Thanks for having me back.
Now let's begin with the biggest headline of it all, Zii Jia ending his 17th month title drought. This, of course, was after he overpowered his younger compatriot, Zii Jia, in an all-Malaysian men's singles final. Now that must be such a huge relief for Lee after a tough start to the year, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is his first final since Denmark 2022. It's been a while. We haven't really seen this run of form from Zii Jia, so he will be very, very happy and satisfied with this week. I think the draw was nicely laid out for him. It was very tough, but with tough matches comes confidence that let you springboard into the next round. The situation could have happened where Zii Jia had the game of his life. I think that's what it would have taken to beat Zii Jia in the finals there, but Zii Jia kind of kept him at arm's length, and we saw like quite a clinical performance that we've maybe been missing this last kind of year. So it was super, super nice to see. I think what was particularly set the two apart, I think, was Zii Jia's overhead power. I think Zii Jia is a really strong player, and he has really nice technique in movement around the court. It's so smooth, but Zii Jia just had that extra sting in his overheads and that extra power that I think Zii Jia hasn't quite got in his game. But I think it's like encouraging signs for Malaysian badminton as a whole, independent players and the federation, that there's so much competition within the one country. We often say in sports, like, success breeds success. So I hope that can be the kind of cycle that we start to see a little bit more again in Malaysian badminton.
Well, I mean, me and Zii Jia, we used to be teammates as well, and while I was in the national team, we trained a lot together, and seeing see him growing up as a top player. I mean, as I said, as a Malaysian, I think it is a very proud result that now we have two men's singles now in top 20 as well. So many looking forward to these upcoming tournaments. We can play more good games. Yeah.
Malaysia could have had another title on the night if not for Kin Astrup and Anders Rasmussen, who denied Man Wei Chong and Kai Wun Tee in the men's doubles final. The Danes carried on from their success at the Hong Kong Open and seemed comfortable throughout the week, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they had a kind of 3 first-round losses at the start of the summer, and then ever since, I think they had a kind of like down week pre-World Champs, the home World Champs, and since that home World Champs, they've had an incredible run. And like I say, I speak a lot about momentum, and I think that is so key to it, especially in men's doubles when the margins are so fine. If you're the one that has that just extra kind of tiny bit of confidence within yourself and what you've just previously done in the last tournaments, then it goes such a long way. So it was really nice to have them be the only European representatives in the finals, and it was nice for us to see them get the title.
I think we have that mentality right now. Those wins we have had the last month have really gives us a strong belief in ourselves, which we haven't had in the past. So right now we're just enjoying it and riding the wave.
China, of course, were the big winners after they secured a hat-trick of titles. Feng Yanzhe and Huang Dongping got the Chinese their first of the day after needing just 37 minutes to secure the mixed doubles title. It took Han Yue a lot longer, but she overcame a tough test against Wang Zhiyi for her first title of the year. She went down in the first game, but what do you think she did better in the next two games to walk away with the win?
I think it's always really interesting when two players from the same country play against each other, because they're training against each other every day. They know each other's games and they know each other's favourite shots. But there's also the added element of there's no coaches. So it really comes down to the players to figure out what's happening and figure out what's required to get the win. Hats off to Han Yue, because I think she really figured out that in the first set, I think she was really exposing herself on like the long diagonal, allowing Wang Zhiyi to step in and play it into that nice open space. And I do think she kind of tightened up her lines a little bit and kind of kept the space a little bit tighter, so she wasn't exposing her movement as much.
Now, with the prestigious HSBC BWF World Tour finals inching closer, the race to qualify for it is definitely heating up. And with the conclusion of the Arctic Open, we've witnessed several shifts in the rankings, with some players making impressive moves and others slipping down. Remember, only the top 8 from each category with a maximum of 2 players or pairs from the same member association will qualify for the finals. So let's see how the tables are shaping up now. Now, despite falling short of the title in Finland, Ng Ziyong is the biggest mover in the men's singles category, moving 6 places up to 4th. Anders Antonsen also jumped several places up to 3rd, while Victor Axelsen, Kenta Nishimoto, and Jonathan Christie all dropped places but are still within the qualifying spots. In the women's singles discipline, Han Yue moves up 2 places to 3rd, while Wang Zhiyi took over Chen Yifei as the second best Chinese player. Tai Tzuing enters the top 8 after a quarterfinal finish in the Arctic Open. Over in the men's doubles category, Kim Astrup and Anders Rasmussen's win pushes them up to the top 8 as they take over the places of Indonesia's Muhammad Shohibul Fikri and Bagus Maulana. Reina Miyaru and Ayoko Sakuramoto replaced Nami Matsuyama and Chiharu Shida as the second Japanese women's doubles pair to be qualified, while we now have 2 Thailand pairs in the qualifying spots. Finally, Feng and Huang solidify their place at the top of the mixed doubles standing, while Jiang and Wei see themselves jump 3 places up to 6th. As you can see, things are definitely intensifying, and that just makes our next event all the more exciting. I am of course talking about the Victor Denmark Open. Despite having a few players out injured for it like An Se-young and Akane Yamaguchi, the women's singles draw still looks very competitive. Kirsti, you are facing a rather tricky first opponent in PV Sindhu. She did good in Finland. What are you expecting from her here, and how has your preparation been for it?
Yeah, Sindhu had a really good week last week, and I don't know what I've done to anger the tournament software gods, but yeah, I'm getting pretty tough first rounds in these tournaments. But in a way, I want these first rounds. I want to play these top players, so I'm really ready to play Sindhu. It's been a long time since we played each other in an official tournament. I think maybe 2016 or 17 or something in Denmark Open first round, I think. So yeah, I mean, I want these games. I would like to have them in maybe in quarterfinals rather than first rounds. But it is what it is. I'll be ready regardless. I've had a good couple of days at home after Finland, and now I'm in a nice Airbnb in Odense. And yeah, we'll have one more day of preparation, and then I'll be ready to go. So yeah.
Gregoria Mariska Tunjung is in the same bracket as you and Sindhu. She will be looking to put behind an Asian Games disappointment when she takes on Nozomi Okuhara. How difficult do you think that would be for her, considering how much pressure she was under in Hangzhou?
I can only but imagine what the pressure must be like to be an Indonesian player and almost kind of expected to get medals. I'm quite lucky that I'm quite often the underdog in tournaments, but you know, I have had that pressure a few times with European games and European Championships and Commonwealth games, and it is difficult. But saying that, with these major events, they only come around every 4 years, but also in the same breath, you're immediately back onto the tour afterwards. There's not that much time to kind of wallow in, you know, the sadness of a loss or a disappointing result there. It's been 10 days and she's straight back on tour, so it's kind of nice in a way to be able to move on that quickly, and there's plenty more opportunities, and that's how I choose to look at it as a player. We're just straight on to the next thing, and you know, any new tournament or any new week could be the best one of your career. So I think she'll be just kind of turn her head onto this kind of European leg, and she'll try and hit the ground running as best she can, although I'm sure Nozomi will do everything in her power to make sure that doesn't happen.
Loh Kian-yu will also be looking to put his Asian Games stint behind him when he takes on Kodai Naraoka. The two's head-to-head record ahead of this one is 3-0 to Loh, with their last encounter being an epic 3-game semi-final clash in Korea back in July. Kirsty, what do you think Kodai needs to do to perhaps increase his chances of winning here?
Well, yeah, first of all, I think it's crazy that both these players aren't seeded. It's crazy that Loh Kian-yu is the unseeded player in this matchup, and he is the one that is 3-0 up in head-to-heads. I think that's really interesting. Sometimes players' styles, they just fit to beat someone else, and sometimes they just fit exactly wrong and you just can't seem to get past a player. So it looks like this is the case with Naraoka and Loh Kian-yu. I think what Naraoka has to do, if we look at the Korean Open semi-final as an example, I think Loh Kian-yu is almost unmatched in the world in terms of his explosive power to the rear court. So saying that, I think Naraoka has to take control of the front court and the net area. I think Loh Kian-yu, because he commits so much to the back, I think there could be some spaces, and I definitely saw that in the semi-final example in Korea Open. There can be some spaces down to the service line where you could take advantage, get Loh Kian-yu stretching and kind of pull him out of position a little bit. So if I was Naraoka's coach, which I'm not, I would be telling him to try and control the net and get that shuttle below tape.
And finally, the Victor Denmark Open will be in Odense, Victor Axelsen's hometown, so we have to talk about the world number one. He pulled out of the Arctic Open, so he has 1 extra week of preparation for this. What can we expect from Victor here?
It's such an interesting one, because I think with Victor, I think the mental preparation is very important. I think that was probably a good decision from him to pull out of Arctic Open last week. And he has done this in the past, and because he's very good at making the right decisions for himself. I think he's not shy of withdrawing from a tournament if it means better preparation for the next one, and we've seen it before. And I think just because he goes so far in every tournament and he's got such a big body, I think it really takes its toll on him. So I think this week for Victor is going to be quite interesting start against Magnus Johannesson. And I also think it's interesting that in Victor's half, he has 2 players that he's kind of struggled against in the past. We've got Pranoy and we've got Vitasarn. So that's going to be really, really interesting if all those players get to, you know, their full potential. Those are 2 players that can cause Victor some trouble. So yeah, but like we say, he's had that extra week to prepare, and I'm sure he's done his homework. So yeah, I think keep your eye on Victor this week. Everyone will anyway, but keep an extra eye on Victor this week, because I think his run's going to be interesting.
Thank you very much, Kirsty, for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the very best in Odense.
Thank you so much for having me.
For those of you at home, don't forget to catch all the action from the Victor Denmark Open, starting from the 17th of October all the way through to the 22nd. If you guys are on the go, you can always catch the latest news and match updates on our BWF app, Badminton for You. And as always, don't forget to share your thoughts and comments on who your favorites are on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Until next week, everybody, take care and goodbye.